Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are joined back live again by Sally Wurr. Excited to have her here joining us today. How are you doing?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, as they say.
It is. Well, you're in Colorado, right? What's the weather like?
The weather today, the sun is out, and Colorado, where I live, Denver metro area, the sun's out almost every single day, right? I mean, it's always beautiful, even if it's a negative temperature outside. But we've had a lot of rain lately, and it's been I feel like I'm back in Oregon, right? Where it's always rainy. But
Yeah.
it's a beautiful day and middle of the week, and we're just going to rock and roll. I know it's only Tuesday. I told somebody this morning I feel like it's Friday. It just has a Friday feel.
Yeah, it does. Well, I'm excited. New York weather's good. Plus, I'm going on vacation this weekend, so I'll be away with the kids and my family. So it's that type
Awesome.
of week. It feels good. And what do you do for a living? You make people feel good. Go ahead.
I do.
Tell me.
I hope so. I hope that I help people transform, right?
Mhm.
My whole goal in life at this stage is to inspire people to figure out and to wake themselves up and figure out where they really need to be heading.
Mhm.
Because sometimes where they're heading isn't really, they're just doing it because someone told them they should do that, and they haven't really pondered other avenues, right? Just because what you're doing is what you're doing doesn't mean you can't pivot. And so I help people make the pivot, and I help people understand through my book, Power of Awakening and Power of Purpose, how they can be in the driver's seat of where they want to go.
Got it.
None of us get where we're going without the help of somebody else, but sometimes we have to dig a little bit deeper and figure out how we got right where we are and how we catapult ourselves to the next, whatever the next is.
Oh.
So I wrote Power of Awakening, wrote Power of Purpose. Power of Legacy is coming out this year. And it's really just to help people, as I tell you all the time, the problem isn't the problem. It's our reaction to the problem that is the problem. And so many people after COVID are just on a spiral. And how do we lift them up and show them a different scene, right? You're going on vacation. I love that. I am taking off for a few days as well. We have to do this in order to number one, ensure that what we're doing is what we're supposed to be doing, but also to spend the time with people in our lives that mean the most to us.
Yeah. And make the time.
Yeah. I am preaching to the choir here. I'm just preaching to the choir, right? Yeah, because you've got it, right? I mean, we all have it to the extent that we have it, and based on the knowledge that we have in front of us today, the decisions that we make. But there's too many people out there that are just wandering. They're just wandering. So that's why I wrote the book. Power of Awakening. I hope that it's inspirational and transformational, and that I have a chance to have an impact on people around the world. That's really, I've lived a very energetic life, and I've learned a lot of things along the way. And so it's now that give back side, which we all get to at some of us get to at some point in life, where it's time to share our knowledge. It's time to share our knowledge.
And SallyWurr.com. How do we reach you? SallyWurr.com.
That's correct. And I have a article that I wrote. It's called Discovering, the five steps to discovering you, that they can get if they go to SallyWurr.com/work with me. And also on the work with me is, as I add new things, I'm looking at doing a book club, an online book club for Power of Awakening. And when I get that all set up and ready to go, then it's going to be one of those things that's going to be on that work with me page. And it's just exciting as we bring on new things. I work mostly one-on-one with people. I have done small groups of just figuring out where the person is. And I like to talk about tools in the toolbox, right? We're all born with tools. other tools we learn along the way. I was just saying to a friend this morning, I said, I was not born with the rocket scientist toolbox. I am not an engineer brain. But I have my own tools, right? And so learn what lane you need to be in and kind of stay there. But every lane has lots of options.
Yeah.
Every lane has options. So, you know, Power of Awakening was, as I mentioned early on in one of our earlier conversations, I wrote it for me. You know, when I lost my husband in 2020 to cancer, I was in a place where, okay, so now it's just me, and who am I? Who's the second me in life? You know, I was a me before I got married, but I'm not that same me anymore. So who am I? And who do I want to hang out with, right? The saying always goes, who are the 5 people that you hang out with? I would say this, most of us have 3 or 4 groups of 5, right? Because we have them for different parts of our life. You know, we have them for our personal life, but we have them for our business life, and they don't usually come together because the conversations are different. And you know, you'll have your family and friends this weekend. I actually will be with a group of collaborators at a mastermind. I was at a mastermind in Cancun. And it's those people that we connect with.
Meet along the way. Yep.
And when you're sitting around, we're there for a huge book signing. And when we have a chance to sit back and relax and the real true people come out, which is what you get in a mastermind, the true personalities present themselves. That's when all those collaborations come out, right? All these big ideas. And then we come together and we, as a group, can make them happen. And I encourage people to do more of that.
Yeah.
You know, figure out who feeds you, who feeds that energy in your gut and in your brain. And I always like that expression, just where your brain just goes, and all these glitters of little sparkly ideas come falling down. But the ones that really sing to your heart, they're going to stay up here. The rest are going to fall away. But the ones that are really, if you're really in tune with where you're going and what you want out of life, the biggest sparkles in your sky are going to stay there. And that's why I inspire people and hopefully help them transform and figure that out. Just figure that out. And, you know, you don't have to rearrange your entire life to do so.
It's true.
You know, tweaking here, tweaking there. But so, you know, there's so many tools out there, Jill, that we can share with people if we're willing, and if the people are willing to receive them. You know, they don't have to receive all, just one golden nugget. I mean, I don't know about you, I'm sure you probably go to a lot of events as well, and someone says, well, what do you hope to get from that event? Well, I go in with an expectation, but I also go in with an open mind that, okay, so this is what I'm hoping I'm going to receive, but I'm open to whatever comes to me and whatever really just sits up here in this sparkles up in my brain. Because too many people go in with an expectation, and when that one expectation isn't fulfilled, they feel as though it's a whole waste, right?
Yeah.
You were there for a reason. You know, be open to the possibility that what your one expectation was might have gotten delivered differently than how you expected it to be.
Yeah.
Just a thought. I mean, it's just so many people get focused on just, and there again, it comes back to our personality types. But, you know, with Power of Awakening, I wrote that book as a way for people to begin that process of who are they, and are they where they really want to be? And if they are, that's great. You can still work through the book and enhance what you already have. But what I discovered is, because of the lockdown with COVID, so many people lost who they thought they were. And they're struggling to find either back to that footing they were before COVID, or what is the new look like?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's every day when I talk to people, I get different scenarios. But that's why Power of Awakening was written. That's why Power of Purpose was written. Power of Awakening, is that just that key to figuring out who and what you should be. And then Power of Purpose is really about unlocking it, right? You've now figured out the basis of who you are and what you've done in the past, what you want to do in the future, and where are you centered at? Where are you at on that scale? And then how do you turn the key to unlock it? So Power of Purpose is all about unlocking those keys. There's lots of steps, and a matter of fact, I pulled up my book, Power of Purpose. Yeah, that beautiful bright key, and it's turning to the purpose, and and it's some of the things in there under chapter 8 is who do you hang out with, and that comes to mind because I've hung out with some pretty cool people lately, right? And some really big hitters in the world, and I know you do too. I mean, that's what you do.
No more.
But yes, you do. Yeah, I don't believe that for 1 second.
I don't get out much these days. I used to. It's all right. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm okay.
But you're doing what you want to do.
I do.
And maybe
I want to go out more and do more, but I can't right now because the kids. That's kind of what I was getting at. Yeah. No, but I still,
I get that. My daughter's 38, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Only thing that's holding me back from the travel that I plan on doing is, and there again, I do not want anything to happen to my cat, but I have an 18-year-old cat. She'll be 19 in August, and she's not well, but I can't leave her for days.
No.
I either have to board her or my daughter flies in and takes care of her when I travel. But there again, it's that caregiver, right? And we
sacrifice for them, of course. Aww.
Because you won't get back that time with your children, right?
Nope,
and
exactly.
So you recognize that I decided to have children, love my children, love spending time with my children, but we know that we only have this very short window when they're with us.
Yeah.
Because 18, 19, 20 comes, and I look at my daughter and I say, how could it be?
Yeah.
How could it be that time has gone by so fast? But like you, I took time away from everything else that I wanted to do when my daughter was younger so that we could make great memories, and that you are a part of the growth of where your children are going. And that's what a parent does. That's what a mom does. Happy Mom's Day, by the way.
Thank you. Same to you, by the way. Oh my goodness.
Hope you had a great Mother's Day. And but that's what we do. Moms are nurturers. Moms are making sure that their clean laundry's in the drawers and hanging in the closets, and that they're learning the lessons that we want them to learn about humanity.
Yeah.
And that I know when my daughter was younger, I was more cognizant, and this probably was because I wasn't a good student myself, right? I was not a straight A student by any means. There are way more things more important than studying and getting straight A's, when B's and C's would pass, right? But it was all about being that good human being. If you are that student that A's are the only thing you're going to accept from yourself, that's all well and good. There's not a problem one with that. But as a mom, that's an important role for each of us when we bring children into the world, is to give them that guidance. And the best thing that a parent can give to a child is a 4-letter word. It's called TIME. Time. And making sure that the time we give our kids is the time that they're asking for. I was on a call last night, and we were discussing this, as a matter of fact, because of Mother's Day, and we said, she says, I struggle because she was a single mom with 2 kids, and she says, I want to be at every event. Her daughter is a soccer player, and she travels all over the state with soccer games, and so she asked her, she says, I want to make sure that the time I have to spend with you is the best time that you want me to spend with you. She says, but I can't be everywhere because I have a job. Mm-hmm. And she says, what is the most important for you for me to be at? And I will promise to be there. And her daughter said, well, Mom, I really don't care that you drive, 2 hours away for a soccer match and watch me play for 30 minutes, right? She says, I would rather you come to this instead.
Perfect.
And so her and her daughter decided that this was what it was. And Mom, that pressure came off the mom, right? Which I'm sure you have. Your boys are active, I'm sure.
They're 6 and 8, yeah. So,
And so when you have this amount of time to share with them and spend with them and be present with them, is it the time they want that's important to them for you to be at? Mm-hmm. As one of the people said, he was a track star in high school, and he says the last thing I wanted were my parents to be at my track meet because I wanted to hang out with this girl over here, right? And last thing I wanted were my parents there. And so my parents chose to spend time with me in different ways. And so whether it's your children or it's your parents or it's your spouse or your cohorts in life, figure out what works for everybody and give yourself grace the rest of the time. And I don't think that most of us, it's one of the things I learned, in the 2.5 years now after my husband has passed, is to give myself grace that I cannot do and be everything to everybody and everything and still be coherent, and so there's some things that people say, well, you have this and you have that. I have 2 companies. I do well for myself, and cleaning my house is not a priority for me. I want a clean house, but I don't want to clean my house. Yeah. And so I hired someone to do that. I hire people to do the things that I don't or can't do. And there again, it's when you have children, there are some things that you have got. So there's dirty food, there's dirty dishes in the sink. Time spent with our children, especially when they're younger, is time spent with our children. You have to give yourself grace that those dirty dishes in the sink will wait until, 9:00 that night if they have to.
Yeah, I know.
But we don't give ourselves enough grace, and that could probably be a 30-minute conversation just on because we beat ourselves up, right? Especially as women.
Yeah.
We beat ourselves up. We aren't pretty enough, we aren't skinny enough, we aren't smart enough on the computer, we don't have this, we don't have that. It's all about what we don't have, and instead, focus on what we do have and try to make yourself better in those areas that are important to you. Like this year I would really like to get back to my, size 8 pants. It's a goal for me, but it's going to take effort, and I have to give up other things in order to get to that size 8 again. Right. Yeah. And so it's a sacrifice, but it's one that I've got to do for myself. So when we're talking about, awakening that power within ourselves, that's what it's about. It's giving ourselves grace when we need to, but figuring out the steps of getting us where we're at, and trying to hang out with people that inspire us to, if you have dreams and goals, to go after them. And if not, be happy and content and give yourself grace with where you're at, and that's where you're at in life. And 5 years from now, 10 years from now, there'll be a different goal.
Yeah.
You and I have had that conversation. I'm at that stage now where I'm not looking 5 years out. I'm looking 5 months out. I took the years off because, I can move faster.
Yeah.
I have the ability to move faster because I have less constraints on my time. When I'm with my daughter, a couple times, 4 times a year probably, we love our time together. but then we both go off into our normal worlds and do our thing. So
Oh,
that
I'm sad
was
thinking that's going to happen one day. It is with my kids. Yeah, yeah. Before I know it, they'll
there's
be gone. I stress about them now, and I'm like, I should enjoy it. But when you're in it, it's it's harder. Yeah.
it is harder because it's that day-to-day decisions that when you're the person making the decisions, is it the right decision? Well, your gut's you got to listen to your gut and what it tells you. And too many people don't, or they have other people around them that are stronger personalities and they say, no, you need to do this. And then you're caught, right?
Yeah.
This is what your body's telling you and your mind's telling you, but this other person that you love and respect is saying, no, you have it all wrong, when you have to start at some point in life saying, no, this is what I need and this is what I want, and this is going to cost me the least amount of stress and second guessing, but they're gonna, and I tell people all the time too, I have a lot of friends that their children are all still here in Denver Metro, and so they see them often. And my daughter went to college in Hawaii, so she was 7.5 hours on a plane ride away from me.
Wow.
So there was not any of that, well, what are you doing today, or what are you doing tomorrow, or come on over, or, there was none of that. And she, with the exception of 18 months that she spent back home after college for other reasons, but she's not been here since. She's been gone for 14 years.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, I mean, we talk all the time. You talk to your children all the time, even when they're gone, but there's no guarantees that our children are going to stay in the same town we are.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly didn't. I haven't lived close to my parents since the day I got married.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's life, and it's learning what you can control and what you can't control, and try to alleviate as many stressors that you have in life as possible, because there again, it's how we react to those stressors.
Yeah.
I mean, I think about just this last week, it's been my place. I've been in chaos, and I like chaos, but I like it to be controlled, and it's been a little bit out of control, right? And it's just sitting back and just breathing for a few times, some deep breaths, and just say, nothing major, just those aggravations in life. And if we don't go spiraling off into an abyss somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and we just deal with them head on and say, okay, so what is the problem, and can I fix it, or who do I need to call to fix it?
Got it.
As opposed to saying, oh my God, that didn't solve anything. It didn't solve anything. It's just like, yeah, no.
I know. All right. Thank you. Some words of advice today from Sally Wurr. Seriously, we got 3 minutes left, but you really, yeah, I love we just go into conversation. Now you got me on the thinking with the kids and our journey and our lives, and it's okay to move, and it's okay. Oh gosh, yes, there's a lot on my plate now, and I'm letting it absorb. What's so hectic in your life, if you don't mind me asking? You said it's a little too chaotic.
It is. A couple weeks ago, my laptop that I love, but it's 6 years old, it started not connecting to the internet, or it would connect and then it would shoot me off, and then it would connect and it shoot me off. And I'm saying, okay, it's 6 years old. It's 2 years beyond any laptop's ever done. So I went and got me a new laptop, which is creating a lot of issues as well, because when I downloaded all my data, and I have 2 backup systems, so it's usually really clean and smooth, and I'm up and running, and it didn't happen, and I've got files that are missing, and it's like, oh. And then I was still having the internet connection issue, and so then I went to my Xfinity Comcast, and I'm doing all the troubleshooting there. It says, well, you got a DNS server error. What the heck is a DNS?
I know.
So I chatted with them. I said, well, the gateway, the gateway,
I'm like, yeah, I don't get this
is too old, and it can't handle the speed that you have coming in. And I go, well, can I go to the Xfinity store down the street and get a new one? Yes, here's the one you need to go get. So I unplugged it. went to the store, not even in there 5 minutes. They gave me the new one. I came in, I hooked it up. 30 minutes later, I'm all up. Everything is connected. But my new laptop still didn't download all my documents.
Gosh.
And so when we're done today, I am going to restore this brand new computer back to where it was a week ago. And I'm going to re-upload, because I think it was because there were so many disconnects because of my bad internet that that's where it interrupted. And so that, and then I went down and put salt in the water softener and saw my hot water heater had this mineral deposit coming down the side and a leak. And I'm going, well, that's not good. And so yesterday they put a new hot water heater in, right? And
it's gosh.
It's like,
that is a lot. But
can
God only gives us what we could handle. That's what my mom used to always say. I know. I get it.
It's not anything that couldn't be handled. And I'm just an automatron when those things happen, right? And this brand new laptop that I really like will be functioning.
And we'll end it on that note. Congratulations. Yes. Praying for your laptop. Sally Wurr, if we want to reach out to you to book you for a speaking event or to work with you to be coach, how do we reach you?
SallyWurr.com is my website, which has all the connection information there. Sally@SallyWurr.com, SallyWurr@gmail.com. I mean, reach out to me however you need to, but the bottom line is I just want to get people to buy the books, and if they want to work with me, give me a call. I would love to work with them.
Perfect. Thank you so much. SallyWurr.com. Check her out. Have a great day and good luck.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.